Hello again, DLE and YouTube. This is your new player, helper, and moderator, Jason Reed here again, back with another video on Galaxy Photon. This time, we are doing a detailed deck profile along with some gameplay of Galaxy Photon. So let's get into it right away. We're going to start by the deck's namesake, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. You play one of, because this is not a card you want to open your hand with. You want to get it later in when you do your plays with Photon Vanisher and use it to prep the skill Galaxy Photon. Now, the nice thing about this is when it battles, you can banish the Photon and itself, so it does some really nice things, but for the deck's namesake, this is probably your best card. However, you only want to play one of it. It's not something you want to see very often. Now, your deck's best card that doesn't require normal summon is Photon Thrasher. So when you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you control another monster, this card cannot attack. Now, as I said, this is probably your best card that doesn't require a normal summon. Next, Photon Advancer, we're playing 3 of. Thrasher we were playing 3 of, and now we're playing 3 Photon Advancers. And so if a Photon monster is on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, when we covered the inherent summonings, so you may notice that the summoning condition for this is a special summon that does not start a chain. Also with Thrasher, it's the same thing. Special summon that doesn't start a chain. So again, you can only special summon Photon Advancer once per turn this way, and it gains 1000 attack if another Photon monster is on the field. For now, I'm only playing 2 Photon Vanishers. Ideally, you would play 3. Again, so you can only special summon this card while you control Photon or Galaxy. And it can attack the turn as special summoned. And you can only special summon Photon Vanisher this way once per turn. Its special summon does not start a chain. So kind of like Levianeer, because it has an effect when summoned successfully. So if this card is special summoned, you get to add a copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your deck to your hand. And the neat thing about this is that, so when you exceed summon with Photon Vanisher, the exceed gets the following effect. So it banishes any monster destroyed by battle with this card. So if you exceed summon using Photon Vanisher, the exceed, if it destroys a monster by battle, just gets banished instead. So it doesn't hit the graveyard, so it can be nice for some plays. And then lastly, I'm playing 2 Photon Lizards for now. Ideally, you would play 3, but unfortunately I do not have 3. So that's probably your best normal summon card, because it searches out for any of your Photon cards in the deck. So if you have a Vanisher, you get a Thrasher. If you already have an Advancer, you get a Vanisher, vice versa. So if you have one piece, you're missing the other piece, you grab the other. So, and again, you can only use this effect of Photon Lizard once per turn, but it's probably your best normal summon card. Now, we're playing 2 copies of Photon Stream of Destruction. If you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, target a card on the field and banish that target. So you can only activate this card during your turn unless you control Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So this is probably one of the best spells that we get with Galaxy Photon. This is the skill. I'll explain the skill more in a second, but we're playing 2 as probably one of the best forms of remove for the deck. It becomes an interruption if we have the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon during your opponent's turn. And that's the main components of our deck, the main deck anyways. And then the main exceed that we need is the Starlight Lord Galaxion. You get 2 copies, one at level 11 and the other at level 30. But I feel that 1 Galaxion should be more than sufficient if you're only playing the 1 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I don't feel that it is necessary to play the 2 Galaxion and the 2 Photon Dragons just because it gets pretty clunky. And the last thing this kind of deck needs is more clunk than it needs. So it takes 2 level 4 Photon monsters to make. So once per turn, you can detach 1 or 2 exceeding materials from this card and then apply the following effect of 10 depending on the number of detached materials. So if you detach 1, you summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your hand. If you detach 2, you summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your deck. Now, so those are the main cards of the deck. So let's go over the remaining spells and traps and the other Exceed monsters of the deck. So the first card I'd like to go over is the Galaxy Cyclone. As I said previously in the previous video, this card does synergize with the skill Galaxy Photon. It is your main form of spell and trap removal. And it has the nice effect of in the graveyard, you can banish it and destroy a face-up spell and trap. But if Necro Valley is on the field, so you can't really do that. But it is, it's nice to have, but it's mainly destroy set spells and traps. Now, you've been wondering probably all this time, why the heck am I playing 3 Book of Moon? This is probably the best card of offense and defense. So if you need to play into somebody's board, you play the Book of Moon. And if you need to play defensively, you use this for defense. Now, the main replacement I would use instead of Book of Moon would be the Paleozoic Canadia, as our recommended staple that you guys all get first. That would be the main replacement. And then I'm running 2 Forbidden Lance, so as I said, this card is also offense and defense. Offense that you can make your opponent's monster weaker, and then defense is it gives you spell and trap protection. Now, if you don't have Forbidden Lance, you could run the Hatronade, you can run the Cosmic Cyclone instead of those. But since you're already running Galaxy Cyclone, it might be redundant to also run Cosmic as well, but it is up to you to what you have in your collection to make your list. Now the other card that you might be staring at, why am I playing this so much, is the Starlight Paladynamo. It takes 2 level 4 monsters to make, and then once per turn you can detach 2 Exceed materials from your hand. No, sorry, detach 2 Exceed materials from the card, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0, and if you do, it has its effect negated. If this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or card effect, send to your graveyard, draw 1 card. So this is probably your second best Exceed monster after you make the Galaxion. So it just allows you to push much more easily. But again, as I know for most of you, you will not have the Paladino in your collection because most of you will not have gone into the selection box. That's okay. And now, I would instead play more copies of Constellar Omega, just because that card is, in my opinion, the third best Exceed monster of this deck, considering that we can only play light Exceed monsters. So once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach an Exceed material from this card. All Constellar monsters you control are unaffected by spell and trap effects this turn. So the Omega has inherent protection from back row. That's why I consider this card their third best. And then we play the Utopia package, the Utopia and Utopia Ray. Very rarely I think we will go into this, but it's mainly for a last ditch effort with the Utopia Ray. And then lastly, for the rest of the extra deck, we have the Wambujente Tsukiyomi. If you find yourself running on empty and you need more cards, Wambujente Tsukiyomi is probably your best answer, but I find it's rare to see But some other options you can run for instead of the Tsukiyomi could be the Delteros, could be the Sigma, but again, those 2 exceeds are needing 3 materials, and I find this deck already struggles to make those 2 material exceed monsters, and so I find it is best that we stick with 2 material exceed monsters. Or you could run 2 Omega and an M7 to rank it up instead, but I find just sticking with a good rank 4 toolbox would be most ideal. So that is it for the deck profile. Let's get into some gameplay. So we are going first, that helps. So we have the opening combo. So the opening combo is basically any two photon monsters will get you into the following full combo you'll see on screen. Now, I apologize for not explaining earlier. I should have explained the skill Galaxy Photon, but we can explain it now. So why are we playing Galaxy Photon? So the skill Galaxy Photon says, so return any Galaxy or Photon monster from your hand to your deck, and then add 1 Galaxy or Photon spell or trap from your deck to your hand. The skill can only be used if you gain the duel with a deck and extra deck that contains no other monsters other than light monsters, and the skill can only be used once per duel. So as I was saying earlier, this skill allows us to get the Photon Stream of Destruction or the Galaxy Cyclone. So searchable monster removal or searchable back row removal. So a very utility space skill, very handy. So as I was saying, we have the turn 1 combo. So any photon monster plus any way to get into the Photon Vanisher. So we search the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So now I put back the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and grab Photon Stream of Destruction as a disruption for our opponent's turn. So now, how do we get there? This is why you need to play the Galaxion. Make the Galaxion. So detach the 2 materials and summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So you have minimum at least 1 disruption. And if you open more spell and trap cards, they can also they can serve as other forms of disruption as well. So in this case, I also have 2 Book of Moons, so 3 disruptions. So really, really good. So my opponent's playing the really anti-meta Ritual Beasts here. So Karma Cut and then into Book of Moon. So Book of Moon saves us here. So then swing, 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 lethal, lethal. Very fast, right? Very, very fast. Alright, so I'll also show, there's another replay I have for us going first, so we'll show it again. The Photon Galaxy Combo turn 1. So 2 kites. So I thought maybe he was on Photon Galaxy as well. We're going first, which helps. But no, he's on balance. So as I said, we have the ideal combo. So any 2 photon monsters that can get into Vanisher. So we happen to open the Vanisher and another monster that can go into it. So Photon Vanisher, grab the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, using the skill Galaxy Photon, put the Photon Dragon back, and grab the Photon Stream of Destruction. Now we make the Galaxion. So now using the Galaxion to summon the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the deck, and then set the 2 back row, and then pass. So So the Book of Moon to turn off the Photon Stream Destruction. A smart move on him. Now I don't know why Goki felt had to make an exceed, but I capitalized on him making an exceed. Malevolent Sin. Using the Book of Moon to put it down. And back to us. Now don't mind the Canada, I was doing previous testing with other builds before I came to the build that I have now. So Necro Valley doesn't matter to us. So he was already out of resources by then. Swing, swing, swing. Down to 1,000. And that's for us. Now, you don't always go first with this, right? So what if we go second with this? We're against Yuma as well, so that'd be very nice. So we're going second, as I said, a nice demonstration to show that this deck not only just can go first, it can go second depending on your hand. So Raiden Mill 2, and then Thunder Dragon Hawk into a Dark, and Synchro Summon into a Vermilion Dragon Mech. Dark Effect, get a Duo. Summons the Duo and passes to us. So now, as I said, any 2 Photon monsters that can get into a Vanisher, we have the full combo. So we have the Lizard, and now, so you want to make sure when you do the Lizard into Advancer is that because you normal summon the Lizard already. If you trigger the Lizard right away, you will not have a Photon monster. You will not have a Photon monster available. So you would then, if you just did Photon Lizard right away, you would have had to search a Thrasher. And Thrasher into an Advancer is not the most optimized combo for this. So you will want to do Lizard into Advancer first, because then you can trigger the Lizard to search the Vanisher. Sorry, the Advancer. So Vanisher searches the Photon Dragon, using the skill Galaxy Photon, put back the Photon Dragon, grab a Photon Stream of Destruction. Exceed summon into the Galaxion. Vanisher gets the additional effect, gives it the additional effect, and then we summon the Galaxy Photon Dragon from the deck. Then, the 2 copies of Photon Stream of Destruction. Swing, swing, swing. And that's lethal for us, and it's an OTK for us. Now, I don't find that this deck will always OTK, but if you happen to OTK, good for you. And then the last replay I'll show. So I wasn't sure if it was against heroes or whatnot, but we're going second. That's okay. So what's our opening hand? Not bad, considering what it is. We have 2 monsters that can get into the Vanisher and then into Galaxion. And we have the Galaxy Cyclone and the Photon Stream of Destruction. Pretty good, I think. So Delta into Beta and Sense of Macro passes it to us. So Galaxy Cyclone right away. Uses the Super Team Buddy Force Unite to bring back the Beta. Beta into Alpha. So now we do our Photon Combo. So Photon Lizard into the Advancer, then Advancer into the Vanisher. Grabs the Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon. Use the skill Galaxy Photon. Grab another Photon Stream of Destruction. Now we exceed again into Galaxion. Sergeant's Lord Galaxion. And use Galaxion's effect to summon Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon from the deck. So now note, why didn't I shotgun those Photon Stream Destructions right away? So if you know that Beta can float into another Magnet Warrior, that's why I wanted to wait. Force it out, right? So that's why you did the waiting part. So now, since he has no other blaze you can do, then you do double Photon Stream Destruction. So swing and a swing, lethal, and that's it. Alright, so those are some replays that I've shown. Now hopefully that would be enough information for you all to know how to build and play Photon Galaxy, Galaxy Photon, whatever iteration you choose. And again, as I said, don't be afraid that if you don't have Book of Moon or the Starlight Paladynamo, there are substitutes. So again, I would substitute the Book of Moon for Paleozoicanedia mainly, and then for the Paladynamo, I would put in more copies of Omega and maybe the M7, but definitely more copies of Omega. And if you have the level 30, maybe the second Galaxion, but I feel one copy of the Galaxion is more than sufficient. So again, this is Jason from DLE, signing off, and see you next time.